Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week I have none other than Captain Falcore on as we dive into the latest Tall Tale, the update, all our thoughts, theories, conspiracies, wants, desires, everything you could possibly dream for, and more in this extremely long episode of Keelhauled Podcast. We are going to be covering all of this Heart of Fire update because, believe it or not, we had a lot of cool stuff, and I really like it, and I'm really happy about it because it seems like all the updates that we have been getting have all kind of been stuff just to kind of tide us over for what everyone was expecting to be like a Sea of Thieves 3.0 with the second anniversary, and we kind of got a little bit of that. I mean, it obviously isn't like a huge rehash of the game like it was last year with the Tall Tale introduction and the arena induction, but I gotta say, dude, just the like I feel like we're big lore hounds, and I guess we got to start off with the Tall Tale at this point, right? Like we have to just start talking about this Tall Tale.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah,
if
I mean, one point I would like to bring up though is if you remember last year, the anniversary update didn't actually come out till April, so maybe we've got something to look forward to in April.
Oh, that's true. That's true. They gave us that like month teaser where they're like, "All right, we're gonna announce something really big on March 20th," and we're like, "Cool, what is it?" They're like, "You get a month to wait before the update." We're like,
exactly.
Okay. Sure. So yeah, wouldn't it be nice if on Doom Crossing Day or Animal Doom Day, we just get like another announcement that's just like, hey, by the way, we're having a big update next month, and that'll be our Sea of Thieves anniversary. So here's hoping. You never know.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, exactly.
Although if they bring out something that tops this, I'll be extremely impressed for the update, because the Tall Tale Heart of Fire, dude, I feel like we've gone into like 300 IQ, like big brain galaxy kind of quality of Tall Tale at this point. Like we've literally ascended to the next form. It may not be the final form, but we've definitely made a jump in regards to just like what this Tall Tale is. So how many times have you played through Heart of Fire?
I would say last night was definitely double figures for me.
Okay, yeah. So
I've played it a lot.
We're pretty close. I haven't had to run too many folks through it, so just based on like testing and what I've done in the actual game, I think I'm up to 6. And probably will end up doing a lot more of it. But man, this is such a good one. And like so if should we do a little bit of backstory on what's going on with the lore of it, just to kind of catch people up if they haven't been paying attention?
We could do, yes.
Okay, so
yeah, sure.
So yeah, we've been kind of following along the story of Stitcher Jim and the Masked Stranger. And it's been interesting, to say the least. I mean, how do you feel about pretty much how we've kind of been passively feeding this woman tons of supplies for the sake of whatever? And
they've been very clever about it, haven't they? Because I mean, last time we talked was pretty much around the time when the Stone Circle started to appear. I think that was the last time we talked. And
Dark Relics.
And we were theorizing it could have been the Ancients. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and we theorized it could be the Ancients. We thought maybe it was the mermaids. It's also, and they kind of like I want to say that I was a little bit disappointed that it was Flameheart coming. Not because I don't like Flameheart, but it was more kind of like I was hoping for more of a merfolk or ancient related type of thing. But they've kind of gone ancient though in a weird way, because the Heart of Fire is, well, we don't fully know yet, but it seems ancient in its construction, I suppose, because he did say during it, what was it? It's been here for thousands of years or something.
Yeah,
this place.
It's super
Um,
interesting that
so yeah.
and you're talking about
Mm.
Flameheart Senior with that, not Flame.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
haven't seen Flameheart Junior. Do you want to dive into that right now, and we'll hash that out?
Sure. Why not?
It's a
Why not? Well, I mean,
contested topic for sure,
okay.
because I don't think a lot of people really
It certainly is.
whoever hasn't read the journal, the Tales from the Sea of Thieves, may not even recognize the fact that there is a difference and that there are two flame hearts if they're just going based off of that. But we're putting aside that community of people that aren't familiar, and we're talking specifically about the people who are contesting the fact that the flame heart that we're dealing with is Flameheart Senior. And I mean, a lot of it from my perspective, and this is not even just based on I mean, it's kind of based on lore, but just based on reading the book and how in the book Flameheart Junior is literally referred to by everyone as Faint Heart, who
yeah.
completely, like, you think of this guy and he is not a very strong-willed character. He's very much a fish out of water, and not many people really respect him the way that they would respect his father, the famed pirate Flameheart Senior. So when we see this Flameheart figure kind of egging us on, immediately, like, I'm like, oh yeah, that it does make sense. It makes complete sense that this is going to be Senior, because it's been gone a while. We haven't, it's not around the time of Tall Tales, or of the Tales of Sea of Thieves yet. We haven't quite seen that yet. So obviously the only Flameheart that would really be renowned as much as Flameheart Senior is Flameheart Senior and not the Junior. So, but
yeah,
I'm sure you've probably got some more concrete evidence than I do.
Well, I mean, the first concrete thing is just from a design perspective. If they were going to be delving into the story of Flameheart and his father, I mean, if I was to do it, I would start off from the beginning, which would be the dad, and then work on to the son afterwards, because it's the best way to flesh out the lore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they could introduce Junior straight away and then have a little offset story about Senior and how he was the horrible father or whatever. You know, but it's much better to just have it, bring the dad in first. He's all badass, and when I see my son, I'm going to spank him over the butt, not stuff,
Exactly.
stuff
Yeah.
like that, and then bring Junior in. But the perspective I have on it, and I did a video on this today, because we don't fully. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a developer's game, and they could quite easily just throw a shoehorn at us and just change the lore completely. They have that.
Yeah.
They have that ability. They might not even mention it Senior or Junior. They might change the past. They might change the story. They might forget about the old book. We just don't know what's going to happen. But from what we've been told in the game presently, and if you connect the previous stories and everything else that's sort of come up to this point, it would just make more sense that it was the father than it would do the son.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also the whole timeline behind it. It doesn't. If it was the son, it wouldn't fit within certain parts of the timeline. It wouldn't quite make sense. Whereas if you perceive him as being Senior, it really starts to sort of all fit into place. And I think one of the biggest things that one of the biggest arguments people have is that Flameheart Senior was never a skeleton lord, and they kind of it's it, people. I don't know what people do when they're playing a tall tale, whether they actually see what's happening or whether they just read the text. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
but there was not one point in the tall tale, Seabound Soul, I'm talking about, not one point in Seabound Soul where it said he was a skeleton lord.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they're just seeing a big skull in the sky and they're presuming that is what he looks like
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And they're forgetting the fact that we literally took Flameheart's head off, gave it to Pendragon, and Pendragon exploded it.
It's
So,
so
so if he's a skeleton lord right now, he's a headless one. So
yeah. It's
that's the thing. I mean, I think what they were trying to show in that tall tale is that Pendragon was releasing Flameheart's soul from his
yeah.
body, and that was what the whole trick was. It was to get Pendragon to do it. That's what Stitcher Jim wanted to happen.
So That because that brings an interesting question, because I agree. I don't think that he was necessarily a skeleton lord when he passed away. I think he died, and how he died was just natural. It was just an age thing. I still am not 100% certain how his body made it back to the Sea of Thieves, because that's always very interesting. But based on stuff that we understand with what's been going on, like his soul, like he died and his soul was in his body. According to most lore, that's not the case. If you look at the pirate lord, his spirit was sustained by the tankard of everlasting life, and so apparently so the other souls. Pendragon's soul was trapped within in the painting. His father's soul's trapped within the ship itself. So like souls are put into objects. It's not so much that souls are innately trapped within bodies. It could be anything. It just happened that Flameheart's body happened to contain his soul as well. So that leads me to ask, who trapped his soul in his skull to begin with? Like we have so many questions about like when he died, how he died, how his body made it back to the Sea of Thieves, who trapped his soul and how did they know that there would be a point when someone could release his soul. And it definitely makes me wonder, like, with this in mind, like a lot of this tall tale is built around the idea of a curse that's able to take a soul and trap it within an actual item. So yeah, I definitely think that it makes a lot more sense that we haven't seen Flameheart Jr. yet, and that the events of his fall are still to come, and that we might actually get to see that play out in game.
Well, yeah, I think, my theory is, was something I spoke about in a video today, is that, I mean, we still don't know who trapped Flameheart's soul in his head. I mean, there's so many people it could be somebody we've not met yet. It could, there's so many theories on that, but that's something that Rare's going to have to just come out and say, this is what happened. But we do know a couple of things. We know that Pendragon was friends with a ferryman. And we know that the ferryman. Am I right now? I've got to really peer into my own memory. Was the ferryman originally the captain of the Morning Star? Is that right?
I don't remember that he was.
I think. No, I might be wrong here. Anyway, let's get off the ferryman stuff. But my point being is that there's so many people that it could have been the ferryman, that could have started this whole thing, and it's the reason why he made his sacrifice. So But anyway, my theory is on this whole thing is that the Seabound Soul, we use the ferryman's lantern to sort of peer into the past, so to speak. People think it's ghosts, but it's not. It's more of a kind of showing the past or showing what preceded before the person becoming a ghost. That's the best way to explain the ferryman lantern. So we're basically peering into the past in Seabound Soul, which means that Flameheart's body was brought into the Sea of Thieves. We don't know when, but it was around about the time that Pendragon was locked in the painting. So it would have been around the time when Grey Marrow was just in his infantile state as a skeleton. So I would say probably, I don't know, it's really hard to say, but about 10, let's say 10 years. 10 years in the past is when the Ashen Dragon came into the Sea of Thieves. So if that's the case, Flameheart Jr. would have discovered or would have heard about his dad's death in about 10 years in the past, which means that I think, this is just a theory, I don't know, but I think that Flameheart Jr. is already in the Sea of Thieves. And he's already done this part where he's come in the Silver Blade, he's gone after the Kraken chest, he's sunk in the shroud, he's washed up on the shore, he's met the captain who's told him that Flameheart Senior, isolated him on this island. And I think we're at the point now where Flameheart Senior is in the game, but he's in this mysterious island and he's in the cave with the captain.
You mean Flameheart
And I think what's going to happen
just to clarify.
Sorry, Flameheart Junior. Yeah. And I think what's going to happen now is that Flameheart Junior is suddenly going to say, "Hey, I'm hearing word of my father still being around. I've got to get out there and see what this is all about. And I think when Flameheart Junior makes an appearance in the game, I mean, this is complete theory, but I think he's going to be in a skeletal form, but just in a sort of juvenile state of skeleton form, and he's going to come to the Sea of Thieves again to start asking questions or try to look for his father. So I reckon we're going to be seeing. I reckon we've got to the point now where it's at the end of the book,
Hmm.
and he's going to come into the Sea of Thieves, and we're going to be playing out the story or continuing the story of the Sea of Thieves book, and then maybe he might tell us what happened to him, or maybe maybe as a character we will mistake him for Sea of Thieves for Flameheart Senior, um, and go on the attack, and then discover, hang on, this isn't Flameheart Senior, this is a completely different dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
really interesting because you bring up some really good points that like in the Tall Tale or the Tales of the Sea Thieves, that's intended to be before we actually get to the Sea of Thieves, which really raises some big questions in my mind because a lot of that story is the impetus of when the Sea of Thieves, I just blanked on what they're called, the deckhands. I think it's the deckhands. The
Oh,
group that they took to Rare to play test before the E3 reveal. Um,
I think it's, yeah. Let's just say
yeah,
deckhands. Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's right. I'm not sure. Yeah.
In the Tall Tales, there's the people in the tavern that talk about the first battle of Sea of Thieves, and that was their adventure immortalized in the book.
Yes.
So we know that by the time Sea of Thieves has been established, when it was created, that Flameheart Jr. had already ventured to the Sea of Thieves, and there had already been stories being told. So you could kind of line up the point in which Flameheart Jr. reaches the Sea of Thieves is about the time that maybe we actually arrived when the game launched, and that was
Mm,
that was kind of like the
mm,
beginning, and all of the stuff that
mm,
he did when he went into the cavern and he met up with the Chalice and his crew, the chest and all that battling happened at the infancy of when we got to the Sea of Thieves, and now it's just a matter of um, us figuring out like who Flameheart Jr. is, where he is, what his goal is, and how
mm,
he intends to deal with the fact that his father's coming to destroy the Sea Thieves. Like it seems like it could be
mm,
quite the redemption story for Skeleton if their father's coming to destroy the thing that he came to Sea of Thieves to try and enjoy. Like it would be interesting if you had this kind of butting of heads, like Flameheart Jr. on one end saying, "Hey, you can't destroy the Sea of Thieves. It's what brought me here. It's what brought me to you." And Flameheart Senior
mm,
saying
mm,
the Sea of Thieves isn't what it used to be. It needs to be back to its roots of piracy, and there's been too much Sea of Friends going on, and I'm sick of alliances.
mm,
Mermaids helping people out. And you get this clash between father and son where they literally have to try and work out, with us obviously kind of
mm,
helping or watching, how to save Sea of Thieves, or at least try and preserve part of it so that it isn't just completely scoured by this Ashen fleet.
mm, mm.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. It's
um
the thing is, though, there is a little bit of mistake with the developers, because I think in the description for the book, if you were to buy it from the store or something, it does actually state that these tales took place before our adventures in the Sea
yeah.
of Thieves. But in several Comic Con interviews, they have stated that the book from the Tale of the Sea of Thieves hasn't yet taken place within the timeline that we're currently playing. So it's like, which one's correct? Like, have we, has it already happened, or is it yet to happen? It's a little bit, there's definitely a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that the developers need to clean up in terms of
It's
in terms of the
I feel like
timeline. And
if it,
I really do think all this stuff with imbuing souls into things is how they're going to fix a lot of the problems, because they can just basically say, oh, the reason this happened is because he was in a kettle for 2.5 years. Okay, yeah, job done, sorted.
It's so funny. We I feel like we keep coming back to this this thing where we're constantly trying to figure out like, okay, well, what's accurate and what's not accurate. Rare. We want the
Yeah, yeah,
timeline. Give us the timeline.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, it'll be interesting to figure out just how they kind of work out some of the conflict between what we read in the book and what we understand of the development of the game. And part of me wonders if it's
Mm,
just how the game has been developed and what works and what can be created versus how easy it is to just
mhm.
say, oh, such and such a thing happened in the game and blah 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 blah, and you write it out and you can leave something as
Yeah.
important as Flameheart's death to two lines in a
Mm,
book because it was all told from another party and they weren't even there to participate in it. So there's so much gray area
mm,
in what could have happened with Flameheart Senior's body to the point where
yeah,
they have some room to wiggle, but I'd love to have that fleshed out more. No pun
yeah,
intended.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So one of the interesting things, kind of getting back to the tall tale, is this tall tale, if I remember correctly, is called Black Witch Reborn. And at this
Right.
point, I'm gonna kind of announce the spoilers warning. If you haven't played through this, you should. But we're going to be talking about spoilers at this point because, to be perfectly frank, it's something that I really want to dive into with you, and I absolutely
Mm,
love it. So the at the basically with as you're going through this, you're kind of working your way through the tall tale, and you get to the end. And I just want to jump straight to the end, because we confront Stitcher Jim, who has a chest of rage, and
mhm,
Flameheart Senior is telling him, basically reassuring him that everything's going to be okay. You're a simpleton. You stuck your hand in a chest of fire, and now you're burned, but you're going to become an Ashen Lord. And
yeah,
he feels betrayed at this point. And this was something that I missed the numerous times that I ran in. I never bothered to look up, but I've seen online,
mhm,
and I'm sure
yeah,
you have as well, that the masked stranger is overlooking the entire situation. She's in the at the very
mhm,
end. She's up above Stitcher Jim, just kind of watching down, as if this is played well into her plans. And if anyone has actually
mhm,
found the mysterious skull on Wanda's workshop and ventured into the back of Wanda's workshop on Wanda's Refuge, you will have found that there is a journal in there that literally plays out her whole plan, how she's done everything from coax Jim into confidence and to gain trust with the bilge rats and to build up
mhm,
supplies and to prep things for the return of Flameheart and to imbue Stitcher Jim with power, basically to use him as a vessel.
mhm,
So getting to the part that I want to talk about, the chest is something that is extremely interesting to me because it bears the brand of the Black Witch. And
yes,
in
yeah,
the end, we eventually take the chest to Pendragon on the shores of Devil's Thirst. And as he opens it, he finds that his crew has been trapped within this chest. And we find out that Pendragon is not alone. He is now a crew on his own. And I'm wondering, do you think that we're going to see the rest of his crew from now on and that we might actually see the resurrection of the Black Witch?
I sure hope so, that would be pretty good cool, yeah, one thing I will say, though, is that they've definitely been, indicating to us that, especially in this tall tale, that, maybe ghost ships might be a thing.
Yes.
Um, because, I mean, the burning blade just sat there, and he's saying, "This is my ship." It's like, "No, it's not. That's a ghost ship. That's not the burning blade. The burning blade's in Wanda's workshop."
Yeah.
Keep up with yourself, Flameheart. But and now we've got the Black Witch and the whole, Black Witch. Is it
Hmm.
Reborn? It's called Black Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that in itself is sort of an indication. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but well, I mean, I kind of know what's going to happen, but only my own theories. But uh, yeah, I get the indication that we're gonna maybe see like some ghostly vessels make their way into the sea. I like just the whole thing with the Fort of the Damned as well,
Yeah.
being sort of reborn or brought out of the Sea of the Damned. I think, with all the dark relics and everything, and the collection of those, and the fact that Stitcher Jim was the person who we now know was the person who resurrected Pendragon and possibly brought forth Sea of the Damned, Sea of the no Fort of the Damned, because he was using the dark relics to do so.
Yeah.
So who's to say, Pendragon doesn't now use these dark relics to bring his ship back, and maybe fight. Maybe he will fight Flameheart. Who knows? Um,
I mean, it's definitely a possibility, but I would hate to see someone as cool as Pendragon, like, because he feels like the quintessential, like, safari adventurer, the intelligent Englishman who's here to help kind of save us from
mm,
everything that's going on. And yeah, I'm right there with you, dude. I cannot wait for ghost ships. I wholeheartedly support the idea that we will have to interact with them somehow, magically or not. I love the
mm,
idea
mm.
of
Yeah.
I love the idea of the ferryman's lantern, and us being able to look at the past,
Yes.
because
Yes.
I would love if there was a way for us to have to go against these ghost ships, but the way that we have to do it is using the ferryman's lantern. So we finally get the ferryman's lantern, but we have to light all the ship's lights using the ferryman's lantern from a flame
That's
from
cool.
the
Yeah.
Sea of the Damned. So you take the Well of Fates, you take
Mhm.
the flame from there, just the normal one, and then you go and you light all the lights around your ship, and that illuminates the area so that you can actually see the ghost ships and do battle with them.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
it,
That would actually that would actually work really well technically as well, because you would essentially be having like uh, a mechanic within the game which is only perceived by the one player who's
mhm,
doing it, so it would work, in a sort of a technical way. It would actually be very beneficial for like
yeah.
memory usage in the game and stuff, because it would only be client side, not world side. So yeah, maybe that's something that will
I
happen.
I'm kind of it just dawned on me, and I'm kind of wondering about this. So all of the ghost ships that we've seen at present have all been a result of the possession of the ferryman's lantern, right? Like we've seen
Hmm.
basically every ship in the Seabound Soul as a result of that. And Grey Marrow, I guess, is the one exception where his soul was visible, even though it wasn't actually his skeleton. I'm kind of wondering
Mm.
how that plays into Heart of Fire, how we can see the Ashen Dragon without the ferryman's lantern.
Yes, yeah. I'm wondering if that though, because I have thought about that quite a lot myself, and I'm wondering if that I'm wondering if that's just literally an oversight, to be
I
honest.
wonder, you know?
They're just kind of like, yeah. I'm just wondering if they were like, "Oh, we forgot to activate the lantern. Leave it. It'll be fine."
Yeah,
You know, because it's really hard to distinguish that with Rare, whether something is just a mere game mechanic or it's something that's intended as part of the
it's
lore.
true.
Because I get so many messages from people saying stuff like, if if this is Flameheart Senior, then how come in the description for the newest Tall Tale it says the returning Skeleton Lord? And I'm sort of trying to calmly tell people like, no, it's flavor text. Like they're telling people who are not they're trying to emphasize what's going on to people who have no idea about the law. That's what flavor text is. That's what summaries are. It's trying to tell people all of the stuff without going into the actual finer
Yeah.
details. But people seem to think that that this flavor text of all this different stuff is definitely grounded within the law, and it means
Even
changes the outcome of
even
what
if
is
it's
to come.
I
But
mean, just to argue the details of it, even if it was the return of the skeleton lord, how do you know that you're not talking about Wanda or Stitcher Jim as an Ashen Lord,
exactly, yeah.
or that Flameheart coming
Yeah.
back? He is now a skeleton, so he would be a skeleton lord. He
Hmm.
is returning as a skeleton like, you could you could
Mm.
argue many different perspectives of that. So I can't say that
Yeah,
I agree
yeah.
with the people who think that just because it says Return of the Skeleton Lord, that it automatically says that Flameheart was a skeleton lord prior to
Exactly.
the point in which he came back to the Sea Thieves. It's
Yeah.
and until Rare says otherwise, it's all speculation just based off of interpretation of evidence that we have. So I mean, I'm gonna say that for sure it's probably senior, but I mean outside of that, I'm willing to be wrong on just about anything if Rare says that it's the other way around. And
yeah.
but with
Yeah, I mean, sorry, carry on.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the thing is with Flameheart Senior. Well, uh, sorry, not Flameheart Senior. Flameheart Junior. When he first came into the Sea of Thieves, he was sailing the Silver
Yeah.
Blade, which I think he wanted to name. He wanted to name it the Lach Lieb or something. I think that's right. But they said no, you can't change a ship's name. And the Silver Blade set that is within the game is pretty much on point, apart from the figurehead.
Yeah.
Because the figurehead in the book is said to be a woman holding or letting go of a dove.
Yeah.
And that came in the Aristocrat set, not in the Silver Blade set.
Isn't that interesting? Because that was in the art book as well, too. Like, it seems kind of weird that they did
exactly,
that.
Yeah. But I've got a theory on this, right? I've got a theory which is sort of emphasizes the way that Rare sometimes just mess up a little bit, and then it starts all this controversy about where the lore, where the timeline leads and stuff. But I honestly do think that imagine being in the Rare office, okay, and they're just about to release a Silver Blade set, and then one of them turns around and says, "Oh, what's the figurehead for the Silver Blade set? I've got to load the assets into the game." And some other guy's like, "Oh, it's the dove, the one with the dove." And then this guy's going through the asset files and he sees a white bird, and he's just like, "Oh, that'll do," and he clicks the button. I think that figurehead was supposed to be a figurehead gifted for the creator crew, because it's exactly the same phoenix that's on the creator crew sails, but it's for some reason on the Silver Blade. So I think the Aristocrat set, what the figurehead for the Aristocrat set was supposed to be on the Silver Blade, but they messed up, and then they were just like, "Oh well, we'll just leave it. Hopefully nobody will notice."
It's interesting.
And and I think that this is just emphasizing the fact that Rare does sometimes just mess up a little bit with their own storyline, and this is where all this controversy comes from half the time.
Yeah.
If they just kept to the lore, we would all be a lot happier.
We just need to find a way to lock Mike in a room somewhere and just have him we'll give him some cheese, we'll give him some tea, and he's just going to have to sit on a whiteboard and write this all out for us. That's the only way.
Well, I mean, with the coronavirus going on at the moment, it's the best way to do it is just wait till the UK gets on lockdown and just time it just before, so we're locked in his house and he can't get rid of us.
Just it'll be so easy. All we have to do is get as many little replicas of Indiana Jones in Goonies stuff, and we'll just leave a little breadcrumb of like the keystone from Goonies,
exactly.
The a baby Ruth, and then we'll go with the idol, and then we'll have like the Ark of Covenant, like in an open door to a house. And he'll just have armfuls of memorabilia, and you're like, ooh, I could just put it in the Ark and carry off the Ark. This will be so easy. And we'll just have to slam the door shut and be like, all right, Mike, you knew this day was coming. That'll have
give us the timeline.
But at the end of
Give us the timeline, or I'll snap this limited edition copy of the Goonies. Not even joking. I will do it.
Just have a signed cardboard cutout of Sean Austin. Just be a little flame next to it and be like, "Don't make me do this. I don't want to do this, Mike. I want you to have this. But you're gonna give me the timeline or else."
I often wonder if he just sits in his office watching all these theories, just like proper Dr. Evil style, stroking his white cat, like, ha ha ha, perfect.
If he doesn't, I'm going to be really there have to be moments where he's like, claw fingers, kind of tapping his fingers together, like, let's see what Reddit has today.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so as we kind of shift out of lore, let's dive into the heart of the actual game update. 'Cause, dude, I gotta say, man, the rewards for the stuff that we got with the Tall Tale are epic. They are so good. I don't know anyone that isn't just 100% impressed with the curse that we got from the Heart of Fire. And
exactly. Yeah. And unfortunately, everybody's got it. But it's literally become the crab set. It's like every crew has got the Ashen Curse now. But I suppose that's what they wanted to do, because they wanted to sort of make everybody part of the lore, I guess.
Can I just say, I watched a former community manager for Heroes of the Storm, a game that I have a lot of friends that work on it, who I sail around with. I watched one of the former community managers, who's an awesome person, Lashes. She played the game for the first time, and as me and some of the other devs from Heroes of the Storm were watching her stream whilst playing last night, the first dress that she bought was literally the crab set. And we all just we're like, really? What is it? What is it with this set?
I know, I don't understand.
So ridiculous.
I really don't get it. I mean, I will kind of let people off of buying the dress, because I guess, it's quite a nice exuberant color, and it's not too revealing as well, because a lot of the dresses can be quite low cut and stuff. So, as a woman, I suppose I would be like, oh, nice turquoise color. Oh, it's not too revealing. I don't look like a
yeah.
I'll put this one on instead.
It's
but the male version, no excuse whatsoever. I'm sorry. You're going to go to a deep part of hell for choosing that as your outfit.
Oh man, it's so funny. I either run into to crab people or Athena bros. Those are like the two that I go into, and don't get me wrong, I'm an edgelord. I love me some black with just as much gothed out punky stuff as you can get. But man, I'm tired of seeing the people in the Athena gear. I am all for just getting a little more customization in there. Not too unlike the okay. Before I get into that, I'm gonna stick with the Tall Tale reward. So we got the final piece to the Ashen Dragon set, which is the hull. And dude, the warm embers of this ship hull livery set it's God, like they nailed like what like when we got the Athena ship, I was pretty happy because it was all black and there was all this cool stuff and it had the skeleton with the lantern. I'm like, yes. And now we've got this Ashen set, and it's like, oh no, just part of the ship actually just looks like it's on fire. And I'm like, wait, whoa. I spent $500K for a black ship, and you're just giving this away? Right? So,
yeah.
Well, what did you think of it?
It's the same with the Gold Hoarder curse, because the Gold Hoarder curse, you had to do every single Tall Tale commendation, including the Shores of the Gold commendation, to essentially get something that looks like someone splattered paint all over your face. I mean, it's great to have because it's a good bragging right, but let's face it, there's not much work put into the Gold Hoarder curse. It literally looks like someone's grabbed you by the feet and dipped you into gold. It's not exactly very good. And also the other thing that bugs me about the Gold Hoarder curse is the fact that the gold eye is on your wrong eye. So if you're wearing a patch, it just looks like you've blinded yourself. They should have put the gold eye on the other side. So anyway, but you did all of that. You did all of that, and then you got the Gold Hoarder curse. And now you can literally spend an hour and you look like the most badass person in the entire game.
It's true.
I mean, but like I said before, I think they're trying to get people to be part of the lore. I think they want everybody to look like that because it's going to sort of emphasize what's coming. I think that's
for sure.
I think that's the route they're going down. I'm not sure.
For sure, definitely. Yeah. And that's something that I actually really appreciated, the fact that the Ashen Curse has the like a giant scar going right along your eye, which if you wear a patch looks super bad. And
it does.
I actually really love it. And so those are the rewards just for completing the Tall Tale 3 times, which the fact that this is just like I'm so glad that Rare took a harder look at how many times people were completing the Tall Tales. I'll be honest, I have not gotten my gold curse yet because there's just a couple Tall Tales that I'm just like, I can't. There's too much else going on in the world for me to bring myself to go wander around doing this. I'm saving it for a slow time.
Yeah.
And because I know I'm not going to wear the curse. I will not wear that Gold Hoarder curse. It doesn't look good for me. But
No.
I'll get it for the sake of just having it. But with the Tall Tale, you only have to complete it 3 times, and the design has enabled you that if you only want to do it 3 times, you can have a slightly different experience every single time. And I absolutely love that idea. I hope that this is something that they bring to every single Tall Tale that we get, because it really worked in your advantage of not feeling like it's like you just know exactly what to do as soon as you get there and do it. Like as soon as you do the Seabound Soul, you already know where to go. The fact that you actually have to go there is kind of frustrating, because you can't just sail to the end point and then finish it.
I mean, the thing I love about this new Tall Tale is that it's essentially like a compressed version of the Shores of Gold. It's got all of the lore and all of the vast open areas of Shores of Gold, but you can sort of do it very quickly, because it's literally all you have to do is go to Liar's Backbone and then go back to Devil's Thirst. And that's it. You're in there and you're in the lore straight away. Another thing I noticed was, I don't know if you were aware of it, but depending on which path you go down in the Tall Tale, when you get to the room with the burning blade, Flameheart always says something different about the burning blade.
Oh, really?
Depending on which path you've taken.
I don't think I've ever paid attention.
So I think on the middle one, but I think it's the middle one. I think when you get on the middle path, he says, my old ship, the burning blade, soon she will sail again, or something. And if you go on the left path, he says, my ship has seen better days, but hopefully with the help of my Ashen Lords, she will be permitted to sail again. And I've forgotten what he says on the left one, but it's not really anything to do with the burning blade. It's more to do with what he's going to do to the Sea of Thieves. And so just be aware of it. Try the different paths and listen to what he says.
That's interesting, because I know each path is considered a different thing. Like it's titled a different commendation, and the commendations give a hint as to the type of trial that you're going through as well too. So I wonder if maybe there's a correlation there. I'll have to do them again, because I wasn't paying close attention, because I was like, as soon as I get out, the one thing I always do as soon as I get out is I try to skip ahead as much as possible to get to the point where I can get to Stitcher Gym, because I really just want to get into those doorways before they close. I'm always trying. Trying to chase after Stitcher.
At least try to peer inside.
I just want to see what's behind that.
Yeah.
But I'll have to slow down. I'll have to pay more attention, because that's. I did really enjoy the journals that were in each of the different paths as well too. Finding out about Stitcher Jim's journals, and finding out that he's been plotting this for a long time, and it makes me wonder, because a lot of what he does seems pretty on point for Stitcher Jim. Like, he's poisoning people, he's killing them while they're in their sleep, he's duping the Order of Souls for the Dark Relics and Duke, and all these different things. And I wonder, like, how much of what he's doing is his agency versus like, what is he doing it because he's in love with a masked stranger, or is he doing it for Flameheart? And this tale really kind of lends into the idea that yes, he is actually doing it for Flameheart, because when you go to Liar's Backbone, and I'm kind of deviating here, but I loved the fact that in Liar's Backbone, in Stitcher Jim's lair, there was all these Gold Hoarder keys everywhere. And now they're like faded, they're like rubbed off, they're torn tapestries, and there's just hearts everywhere. And it's like a scorned ex with a new love, it's so funny to see just how like the progression has gone. And did you I don't know if maybe this was just me kind of ciphering out what I expected it to be, because the first part of the tale, there's the heart chamber, which I don't know if that's what it's
Hmm.
actually called, but it's the little puzzle that you have to unlock to get the pages and the keystone. How did you work that
Hmm.
out? Because I read the ruins and just read what the ruins were and just figured, oh, King Flame Heart. That's probably what it is.
Pretty much what I did. I just because I was looking at, sort of read the runes. I already knew what one of them was, which is well, two of them,
Yeah.
flame and no, was it just one? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Flame, yeah. But I was like, what would he, So I was looking at all the different things. You had the chalice one, you had flame, you had, I've forgotten all the other ones now. The squiggly white lines,
Oh,
Kraken, I
Kraken.
think it
Yeah.
is.
I was
Anyway,
wondering
but
why Kraken was in
yeah,
there.
I thought, yeah. But I just thought, no, it can't be any of that. And I thought, if it's not going to be Lord
Hmm.
Flameheart. It's not. So I was like, it's definitely going to have to be Flameheart. So I think I started off with just Flameheart, but then I was like, so what would the third one be?
Yeah.
And when I saw the king, I was like, ah, right. So I shuffled it back around, King, Flameheart, and sure enough, it opened up.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to point this out. Bit of a bad system when you've got this huge. You got this. First of all, it's a combination lock with only 3 combinations. So therefore, that's what is it? 36 different combinations before you get it right, even if you did it
Yep.
randomly. So he's kind of failed there. Plus, as well, the safe that it's in is completely made out of wood.
Totally,
So
totally just burn it.
just an axe,
Hmm.
yeah, or an axe, yeah.
It
Yeah.
kind of reminds me
There you go, job
of
done.
like a locket, where it's not like a locket necessarily isn't something that is impossible for people to open, but it definitely holds the
Mm, mm.
cherished item that you want. And since he's already got the
Yes,
Ashen
yeah.
Alliance chain around his neck, which why he hasn't ditched that
Mm,
beyond me. Uh, but it's
mm,
definitely, it definitely feels more like of a keepsake of like a hope's chest kind of
mm.
thing, where you know
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
has it there. It's kind of like going into a teenage girl's room and pulling the diary out of her nightstand and looking at the little lock on there and being like, that's not stopping anyone. I really hope there isn't something
Hmm,
incriminating in here,
hmm.
because it's more of like a, it kind of feels like Stitcher Jim's lair is pretty much a teenager or teenager's bedroom. And now that I think of, tons
Yeah,
of
it
tons of
really is.
posters
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
wall. What's the new band that they're into this time? They
yeah,
got the journal on the wall. You just got to break open the easy lock. It's a mess. There's
yeah,
open Reaper's chests everywhere. It's kind of pretty much like a
yeah.
teenager's room now that I think about it.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, replace the boxes of Wondrous Secrets with Cheetos, and replace the Gold Hoarder with Westlife, and replace Flameheart with Backstreet Boys, and
Yeah.
there you go.
It's basically, we've uncovered it. Sister Jim is really just a 15-year-old in the body of an old
Yeah,
man. Oh, we cracked the code.
exactly. Oh, maybe he's Lariana.
Oh man, that's funny. That's good stuff. Oh man, I love it. So yeah, so that was something that I wanted to, because I hadn't thought about it, but as we were talking, it popped in my mind about the combination lock, because I can't really see. I'm pretty sure that all of the clues are on etched in the walls, like they've got all the lore bits to them and stuff.
Mm,
But it wasn't as apparent as a lot of the deciphering lock systems that we've had in the past with these puzzles, where it's been like the four
mm,
columns that
mm,
you have to decipher based on what's in the book versus what's in the combination. So it's
mm,
interesting that they're kind of leaving in, like, part of me knows what most of the ruins are, just because I've kind of had to memorize what the meanings are. But for someone who's just
mm,
going into the Tall Tales and might not know or have on their desktop like a copy of the Tall Tale 8 book, like ready to
mm,
go,
mm,
it's going to be kind of difficult for them, and they might just have to brute force
mm,
their way through it. So I'm kind of
mhm,
wondering if
mhm. Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
maybe take that into account.
But yeah, but that said, though, I mean, I've seen open crews try to do the very first Tall Tale, and it was painful. So
That's true. That's that
it's
is true.
I don't think there's any point they could make it perfectly easy for everybody. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? They have to sort of have a point where they just go, right, we just have to, go with our imagination and leave it at
Yeah.
that, and hope that people get it. But then again, it's only three. Like I said, it's only three combinations.
Hmm.
So even if you just randomly tap it, you're going to get it in about 20
I
minutes.
will
So
say I actually watched a because my first night on the seas, I went out and I was heading over there. I saw a ship over at Ancient Spire Outpost, and it was a sloop group.
Mm,
And I sailed over with my alliance flag up, and I just kind of went up casually and asked for an alliance because I wanted to see if they'd be interested
mm,
in doing it because I've already done it a couple times, and I kind of let them take the lead on it. And I gave them a
mm,
few minutes to kind of work out the layer to see like if they would be able to work out the combination. And they were checking the book and they were running around reading the things. And the one thing that I realized
mm,
that kind of clued me in was the king, the crown, and the heart
mm,
above the heart chamber that was like on the wall.
mm,
So when I looked up, I looked right above it and I was like, oh, King Flameheart. It's right up there.
yeah.
So I will say anyone that is working on it can probably work it out, but they're going to have to look around the room to be able to work out exactly kind of what it
Mm,
was and stuff. So
yeah.
I am glad that they put enough clues in there, but I wonder if maybe part
Mm.
of it was a little too obscure for people that aren't initiated with the Tall Tales system.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But
One thing that is actually very interesting about that whole area, though, is that at the Reaper's hideout, there was a couple of stones behind the Mass
oh yeah,
Stranger
yeah, the
that
cover
has
stones.
skeleton glyphs that that hasn't had a translation yet, because the glyphs that we see inside Stitcher Jim's lair has extra skeleton script and also gives
Hmm.
us the interpretation of what they mean. And I haven't done this yet, but I haven't gone to the Reaper's hideout with that knowledge and seen if I can decipher what those say. Because I've got a feeling, because the only one we haven't seen yet, the only one we haven't had a cipher for is the ones that were on the generous gifts and the humble gifts, which is literally just like a circle, like a sort of incomplete
Yeah,
circle. Um, and I have a feeling that incomplete circle, because they were generous gifts and humble gifts, I have a feeling that incomplete circle means gift, but there's no other translation for it. So, but if it is gift, that means that the thing at Reaper's Hideout says something like um, flame gift. I'm trying to think of the ciphers in my head. Flame gift.
I can't remember.
Oh, no, I can't
But
think of it
yeah,
in my head
I
because,
I did the
yeah.
same thing where I was trying to work out like what those images were because I was trying to put two together to see if maybe they were like broken up glyphs and it was like a hyphened word.
Mm,
And I took
yeah.
pictures of the glyphs on the wall and compared them, and none of the glyphs on the walls of Stitcher Jim's lair coincided with the image of the cover stones in the circle behind
Oh,
Reaper's
really?
hideout. So I
Okay.
was kind of,
That's a
yeah,
shame.
I was,
There goes the
yeah,
video.
I was kind of, and I mean, I don't. If you want to make the video, I could very easily have missed something. So I would definitely, I will probably be checking it again. But I remember when I did initially go in to take a look at it, I was excited because I was like, oh, some of these are new. Some of these aren't actually like in the Tall Tale book. So I screen grabbed them,
Mm,
brought them all over to my second screen, and I went over to the Reaper's hideout. And I was looking, and I was like, no, none of these are that. And I was just kind of bummed out.
mm,
So I do kind of think that none of that we might still not find out like what the full depiction of those cover storms are. But yeah, I agree. I can't remember who it was, but I remember someone had mentioned something about the gifts just being called gift, and how it did kind of look
mm,
like it was like flame gift or something like that on Reaper's Hideout. Because yeah,
mm,
it makes
mm,
total sense that it's a gift to
mm,
Flameheart. Everything that Wanda does is a gift to
yeah.
Flameheart. Everything that she's working towards.
Mm,
So very curious to try and work out what the
mm.
final glyphs on that are.
Yes, yeah. One thing I have noticed, I don't know whether this is anything to do with the law, but if you don't have the music activated and you hand something in to the mass stranger, it makes the sort of chest hand in reward noise, but then it's followed by kind of a best way I can put it is a glooping noise, like it's being dropped into like lava or it's being smelted or something like that. And she is standing above what looks
Yeah.
like the entrance to a a magma pit.
Hmm.
So there is a theory I have that she's melting down
Mm,
all of the gold and stuff for future whatever she's doing. I don't know, but
that'd be interesting.
that's one
Yeah.
theory, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
I'd be curious to see like how what's going on underneath there because I'm still of the mindset that that whole area will eventually be expanded upon and turn into the cave
Mm,
because in in the bottom of my heart I still hope that that's where Flameheart Junior's at and that eventually
right,
will break that open and that
right.
I mean I think I don't know maybe I'm crazy maybe like Stitcher Jim is he's going to be one thing and stuff, but I keep wondering if Wanda is maybe using Flameheart Senior to get to Flameheart Junior. You know, she's trying to get
Mm, mm.
the younger model um, for herself. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm crazy, but I keep
yeah.
wondering if she's building everything that she's building at Reaper's hideout because that's where that chalice was. That's where he was, and she's still trying to get to him,
Mm, mm,
but it's she has to get Flameheart back to the sea so that she can continue raising havoc to the point
mm.
where she can finally like get all the pieces together to basically uncover the area beneath there to get
Mm.
down into that cave system and release him.
It is actually a very good theory because Flameheart Senior, he's not a nice guy. He's a horrible, horrible, horrible
Yeah,
person. And it doesn't yeah, you bring up a good point because it's something I was thinking about a while back that although she has definitely been cursed by Flameheart Senior because it was the burning blade that cursed her, which means that it's Flameheart Senior that turned her into the skeleton. It's Flameheart
hmm
Senior that whispered to her and whatnot. But uh, in the journal that's within her layer, she says that Flameheart told her to cover her rage by wearing the
yeah,
mask, and to not let go of her rage until the time is
yeah,
right. And that's not something that I would imagine Flameheart Senior to tell her.
hmm
Like Flameheart Senior would be more like kind of, just kill
yeah,
everybody.
pretty much.
It's the sort of thing he'd
Yeah,
say. So I'm wondering, yeah, there may be a theory on that she's actually, although she's following Flameheart Senior, she's also being contacted by Junior, and maybe Junior's going to kill his father.
yeah. It,
Maybe that's the route they're going down.
it's a real question in my mind of which Flameheart she's really trying to get a hold of because it seems
Mm,
unclear to me as to why I mean outside of just just taking over the Sea of Thieves like obviously her pirate code is a little indicative of what Flameheart Senior would want and that kind of makes sense but that was also a totally different time and she seems like she's a different person. She
mhm,
seems a lot more cold and calculating at this point compared to
mhm,
what she's used to or what we're used to her
mm,
with just being outright like resentful about not being able to sell the cursed cannonballs, raising the fleet and trying to take
mhm,
over the seas for the sake of Flameheart. But I still kind of wonder like
mhm.
is she trying to do all of this because she knows that there's another Flameheart that maybe if she's already manipulating Stitcher Jim, could she get
Mm.
Flameheart Jr. and start manipulating him in a way that would benefit her better than trying to control Flameheart Sr. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so there's
I mean, she did say that Flameheart Senior promised for her to be the queen and sit by his
yeah,
side. But the thing is, we know that Wanda, she's not really a follower. She's more of a she's a go getter. She wants to, she tries to take over all the outposts. It was
hmm
although she was worshiping Flameheart, she wasn't doing that for Flameheart. She was doing that for herself. She wanted to overthrow all the outposts because at the end of the day, they didn't want to buy her cursed cannonballs, and that's
yeah,
literally it. She's just like, well, if you're not going to buy it, then I'm going to kill you
yeah,
all. Um, and yeah, I mean, it really, really is deep diving theory. But let's say that she's got Senior back so that she can find out where Junior is. Junior's going to come back. Junior is going to realize that his father's still alive, see that his father's doing bad things,
Hmm.
then overthrow his father, and then at which point she will be the queen of Flameheart Junior. And then at that point, the Masked Stranger will decide that she's going to take over,
Hmm.
and with more power than Flameheart Junior, take over the entire Sea of the, or rather, take over the Reaper's Hideout and become the Lord Commander of the Seas.
Yeah,
It's a very, very cool idea, like, story
very,
wise.
very clear to me
Um,
that she's trying to be powerful on her own, and that she's trying to
mhm,
manipulate other more emotional entities
mhm,
into doing
yeah.
exactly what she wants. I think the end of the Tall Tale is very clear that everything that she's doing is according to her plan and not other people's plan. And
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
that's going to persist even when Flameheart Senior makes it back to the actual Sea of Thieves, when he actually comes back in full form, and that
mhm,
his eventual downfall, in my mind, will only help to serve as a means of getting what she wants, which may, in my mind, be access to Flameheart Junior at that point. And
mhm,
I could be very wrong about that, but the idea of that seems like 3 levels deeper than what it appears to be at the moment. And I hope that I'm right on that, just because it seems like it would be such a cool way for them to go to kind of introduce to actually introduce Flameheart Junior. And that you
mhm,
know, instead of trying to get Flameheart Senior's approval to be with Flameheart Junior, because he doesn't seem like he really
mhm,
cares about that. It would be interesting if she just
mhm,
knocks him off and has Flameheart Junior doing it in with
mhm,
us.
yeah,
So I would love to
yeah.
see something kind of like that. I think it'd be amazing.
Mhm. And I think at the end of the Tall Tales book as well, you discover that the captain, although he's a skeleton lord, he's not very happy with skeleton lords. He doesn't like them essentially. And this is at the point where Flameheart Junior is he's only just recently turned into a skeleton, and it gives you the impression that he kind of agrees with the captain. He's like, yeah, I don't like skeleton lords either, even though he is one.
Yeah,
But it makes me wonder if, like, when Captain Junior does come back, it makes me wonder if he's going to be still evil. He's still going to be an evil, pirate lord. At the end of the day, he's a skeleton. And he doesn't like humans, but I think he's going to be kind of the the better of two evils. He's going to be the one that maybe we alliance with, for
yeah.
example, so we can facilitate a better alliance between skeletons and humans in the Sea of Thieves.
Which
Um,
not to cut you off, but that would kind of play into the idea
mm,
of Briggsy and Rooks talking about not wanting to be skeletons,
mhm,
wanting to be turned back into human. Like we have a
mhm, mhm,
pirate appearance potion now. We know we can change our appearance with a potion. Maybe
mhm.
we'll be able to figure out how to actually like get skeletons back from being a skeleton to human. And
Yeah, yeah, using mystical properties. Yeah, just like kind of a phantom image rather than actually, having a skeleton be human. He's still a skeleton, but he appears human.
yeah, instead of being
Which would be
cursed.
interesting. Which would then back up the I've forgotten his name, but one of the Sea Post guys who's obviously batshit crazy. But he's talking about the ship, the Sea Post guy being a skeleton lord.
Oh,
I've forgotten which
that's
one it
the Wild
is.
Treasure Henry, the Wild
Um,
Treasure Store, and
that's right. Yeah.
Zarek. I want to say. I think it's
Yeah, I
Zarek.
think that's right. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zarek is like, I
Yeah.
can't leave this dude's. He thinks he's an Ashen Lord, and I'm not going to leave him alone. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's also the one that talked about the mythical flying creature as well too. Uh,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is just, it's so funny, just the fact that that this guy's, he's
Yeah.
like, I know I'm here, I know I'm stuck here, but it's okay because I'm keeping an eye on this Ashen Lord, so don't the Skeleton Lord, so don't worry about it, I got it. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool, here's my fish, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's definitely the Gibbs of Sea of Thieves, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he's
That's how I imagine his voice when I talk
yeah,
to him.
it's definitely Gibbs for sure. Sea turtles, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I wanted to talk. Okay, but Falcore, we didn't just get a tall tale. We got a whole
No, we did
Athen
not.
Athen. We got a whole Athen thing. We got a whole Ashen. No, not even that. God, brain so dead. Athena. We got a whole Athena voyage that is an amazing gold sink for pirates who've been sucking up doubloons like it's going out of style. And I wanted to have you done the Clash of Legends?
Yes, yeah. I think I've done 3 so
I
far.
think I've 4. I've managed to do 4, and I'm 1 away from getting the collector's costume. And we've talked a little bit about the collector's costume privately, but I wanted to toss out an idea that I had last night, that the collector's costume, because all of this takes place on Thieves Haven. Well, a majority of this all takes place on Thieves Haven. And for those that are not initiated, there is a voyage available through Duke. It's the voyage of Thieves Haven. It's essentially the pirate lord's stash of stuff that he's had on Thieves Haven all this time, somehow without us ever knowing about it or finding it. And you can get these items. It's a crate, a relic, a chalice, a skull, and a stronghold barrel that are all kind of purpley and glowy. You can get those, and you can turn those into the mysterious stranger for Athena reputation, and they're the standard values for what you would get normally, like ancient bone dust, stronghold barrel, villainous skull, etc., etc. Getting past all of that, the mechanics of it are kind of easy. You drop the voyage, you do 3 digs on Ashen or on Thieves Haven. You get sent to another island for a riddle, and one of the skeletons there, the first skeleton for chapter 2, is going to be a green one. Then you get sent back to Thieves Haven. You do 6 digs there. You go out to another island, and then chapter 4 will be a red skeleton and a riddle on another island in the Ancient Isles. And then you'll get sent back for 9 digs on Thieves Haven. That's the base mechanics of it all. Getting past all of that, I wanted to talk about the costume, the literal costume, quote unquote costume, that's available through the shopkeeper in the Pirate Legend Tavern. This is the first thing we've ever seen of an outright costume. Usually we get cosmetics, but like, you can't alter much when you're wearing this costume once you complete the voyage 5 times. And the thing that I wanted to bring up to you, and I'll give you a chance to kind of tell me what you think about it. I'm wondering if this costume is Shane, if it's his costume, or Mercia's costume.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Okay. Let me just hang on. I've got the asset pack in front of me now. Let me just have another quick look at it.
Because in my mind, it's got the Athena emblem embroidered on, like, the bracelet and on the back of the jacket. And because it's a full costume, it's representative of an entire person's aesthetic. And what better way to represent, like, a custom NPC's aesthetic than forcing an entire set to be worn at one time, so that you can't just mix and match some of the stuff on this, but you're essentially wearing another person's outfit. And it could be Shane, or it could be Mercia's outfit, since we already have the Pirate Lord's jacket in game, and we already have Wrathbone's jacket in game, the Gold Hoarder's jacket. And they went a step beyond that. And because it's tied to the Pirate Lord's stash on Thieves Haven, which we know was the hideout for Shane and Mercia and Wrathbone and Ramses when they first got to the Sea of Thieves, that this could very well be one of the 2 crew members that we don't know what they look like, could be their costume.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, actually. Yeah, it could definitely be. The thing that interests me more about it is, why have they got costumes? That's what really interests me. That there's definitely something they're going to be introducing more and more of. They wouldn't just have a separate tab within
Yeah.
your inventory if they weren't going to be expanding
Yeah,
upon it.
this is
Um,
definitely the beginning of a change that I think we're going to start seeing, and hopefully, or actually, you know what? Go ahead.
mm.
I interrupted.
No, no, it's fine. I was just going to say that maybe, I mean, when I first saw this, I thought to myself, oh, this is like reminiscent of like World of Warcraft, where you can have your armor on,
Mm,
but you can make it look like
yeah,
something else. But then I was thinking to myself, what's the point of that in Sea of Thieves? Because if you want to wear a different armor, you just wear it. There's no stats involved with your
yep,
armor, so there'll be no point in doing that. So then I started thinking, so why would they have costumes when you can just like literally put on what you
hmm
want? And then it got me thinking about the fact that obviously there are limitations to the hardware of the game. And don't mean to be horrible towards Xbox players here, but unfortunately, Sea of Thieves has been held back to be something a lot more grander than it currently is, because it's having to make sure that it's compatible with the Xbox as well as the PC. It's got to stay compatible within the cross-play
yeah,
environment. And I think they've been wanting to add things to the game like necklaces, facial differences like maybe glasses, maybe masks like the Mask Stranger, or things on top of that. I think they've been wanting to do that for quite a while, but to add an extra type of cosmetic, like an extra type of cosmetic for necklaces and an extra type of cosmetic for glasses, having all those different cosmetic slots on your one character would be too much for the game to handle crossplay. So I think what they're doing is they're adding costumes now, where it literally changes everything on your character to a point where you can you can have glasses, but you have to also have the jacket and the shoes and everything that goes with
yeah.
it.
I could definitely agree because that has been something that they've talked about, where people have wanted to be able to see like your weapons on your pirate and stuff,
Hmm.
and I 100% agree. It's present in the world through NPCs, but it's always been a limitation of what you can do just based on how they've designed the infinite pirate generator, how you can mix and match parts
Mm,
in any numerous combination, and how
mm,
all of the different set pieces that they make, all the different costume pieces that they make, have to work for every single potential pirate size. And
hmm.
I could
Exactly. Yeah.
agree that adding more customization in the form of like earrings and glasses, weapons, pouches, sashes, things like that, that's going to be a lot in the store itself is already really crowded with cosmetics. And I
Hmm.
could totally see them doing this. I actually hope that they do this. I hope that they take things like
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
Admiral set, the Ocean Crawler set, the Kraken set, the Bilge Rat sets, that they
Mm,
take those and they build those into a costume that if you wanted
hmm.
to wear that full costume, all you have to do is click the costume button. And if you don't, if you just want
Hmm.
to buy parts of it, then you click into the costume and it'll show, similar to the way that they have the cosmetics for the ship liveries and the Pirate Emporium. You know, it just has one image, but when
Hmm.
you click into that image, you can buy the bundle or you can buy individual parts of that bundle.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's how they
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
hope
yeah.
that's how they go through the cosmetics with the clothing, because it's all a set. It's
Hmm.
all intended to be a set and worn as a set. It all matches for a reason. And having a
Hmm.
costume would give you an easy way to equip all of it. So two hopes
Hmm.
that I have for this is, one, we get more costumes because we get more elaborate outfits like this. There's no way to replicate the costume that this is in game with
Mm.
how elaborate it is. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
two, I hope that they start to consolidate the outfits that they have in game into this type of a costume that allows us to build our own loadouts. Like I would love to have a
Hmm.
saved custom loadout of what my pirate is, so that if, say, I do want to equip a costume, that's fine. But if I want to go back, it's not going to take me 5 minutes to go back and re-equip all of the individual little
Exactly. Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think I remember Mike Chapman. Was it Mike Chapman or Shelley Preston? I can't remember. It was on one of the live streams, and people were asking, will we ever be able to get cosmetics such as what the merchants wear and the Order of Souls, and and they did
uh,
say that they were going to facilitate a way for us to. because they said that they made all of the costumes that NPCs wear in this
Yeah.
game easy enough for people to cosplay at conventions. They wanted to make sure that they're not too extravagant where it's impossible to
Hmm.
cosplay. So I think maybe they're going to be going down that line as well. Is that because I mean it kind of makes sense because this costume is essentially like an Athena style costume. It's got the Athena badge on it and
Yeah.
everything. So maybe they're going to give us the merchant costume so we can all look like merchants, or gold hoarder costume so we can all look like gold hoarders,
That's
or the Order of Souls. I think the Order of Souls people. There's a lot of people out there that want the Order of
oh,
Souls
totally.
costume. So
Yeah.
um, yeah.
There's a lot of people who have wanted oh, I'm blanking on her name, but she's on Kraken's Fall. She's the cargo turner. She was like the first images we got.
Oh
I
yes,
can't
yeah.
remember her name, but everyone
No.
that saw her admired the tentacle tattoos and the over the shoulder top that she wears, and everyone was like, we want
Mm,
that. Why can't we have that NPC's outfit? And that's I could totally
mm,
see them going the route of picking and choosing costumes from NPCs or merchants and stuff, and kind of making those available to kind of flesh out more of that role play aesthetic. Give you the option to really flesh out your
mhm.
character, and it may be a costume. And a lot of people seemed kind of upset that everyone's going to look like this, kind of like with the curse. Everyone's going to have that flame curse for a while, but that's any game in my experience. When something flashy comes out,
Mhm.
whether
Yeah.
you're playing World of Warcraft and you get the brand new liveries, or you're playing Destiny and you get the new armor set and you just want to wear it with your
Mhm.
tint, or you're playing Call of Duty and you're trying to get the gold guns and stuff. Like, everyone always tries to aspire to get
Mhm.
that, and for a while you always see people wearing the same thing because it's the
Mhm.
it's the new reward.
Mhm.
It's what we worked for,
Yeah,
and then eventually
exactly. Apart from the crab set, for some reason, just people want to wear that all the time, no matter what patches happen.
we won't talk about that. So,
Yeah.
but to kind of get to some of the heart of the voyage, how are you feeling as far as building out some more of these? Because the premise is very similar to when we were doing some of the Reapers runs last year, but
Mm.
it's geared
Mhm.
towards Pirate Legends. And
Mhm.
right now, to get the costume, you only have to complete the voyage 5 times, which isn't hard at all. It's pretty quick, especially if you have a strong pirate who can sail between, or rowboat between, singular islands to work out the riddle and leave everyone else on
Yeah.
the Thieves Haven to kind of dig up the voyages. But how do you
Mhm.
feel as far as like the implementation of it, and it being solely for Pirate Legends? Because I'm curious to hear how you feel, and I'll kind of retort on that.
Well, yeah, I'm a little bit 50-50 with it because I can kind of understand why they're doing it because they want to increase player interaction, and there's not everybody's a pirate legend, so they want people to team up with pirate legends so that they can not only do the quest, but they can also increase their Athena levels. And I think, oh yeah, it's just their Athena levels,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, and also increase their reputation, throughout the other factions within the other trash loot that they find along
Yeah.
the way. But at the same time, it's kind of like if you're not a pirate legend, you can't do it. And it's simple. It's as simple as that. And it's dedicating a large amount of the production to only probably about, I would say at this point, probably about 50% of the game, probably less than that, of the game base at the moment.
Yeah.
So unless if you're good friends with a pirate legend, which isn't particularly very hard. There's a lot of us out there, but if you're a solo slooper like I am most of the time, and you're not a pirate legend, then you're done, really. Unless if you go and steal it from somebody else, of course. But then you don't get the voyage completion commendation for that. So, but yeah, it's. I mean, it, I kind of agree with them doing it this way because the fact of the matter is, I don't know why people complain about this, but people have been saying we need more stuff for Pirate Legends, whereas I always say no, we need more stuff for everybody, not Pirate Legends. Like we need something that everybody can
Hmm.
enjoy. Um, So I guess maybe they're trying to appease these people who are just saying we need stuff for Pirate Legends, and they're still not happy. So you can't please them. So let's go back to
Yeah.
let's get back to Reaper's runs instead because they worked a lot better. But from a lore perspective, I think it's the basically we're arming the Athena Fortune like we armed the Reaper or AKA Wanda.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that's it from a lore perspective. But I don't understand why they've made it Pirate Legend only. It should have been a voyage that the Pirate Legend was giving out to everybody. It would make more sense in a lore perspective as well, because the Pirate Legend would be like, "Hey, I need everybody to help me out
Hmm.
here because we need to get armed." So yeah, it is weird. I'm kind of like I understand when they made it Pirate Legend, but I don't necessarily agree with them making it Pirate
See,
Legend. That's where I
I'm
stand with that.
actually of the opposite mindset. I have been hearing all the Pirate Legends say that they want Pirate Legend content, and I actually think that they should have something. And I think that they
Mm,
actually, because for me, hitting Pirate Legend was the goal. I wanted to hit it. I had already knew what was going to be at the end of it, and I was fine with that. And the enjoyment was the
mm,
grind. But for Pirate Legends, who were expecting more at the end of the road, to not have anything outside of
mm,
Athena's voyages when the rest of the game
mm,
was given to everyone. And I do appreciate that everyone has the
mm,
opportunity to do all of the content, because you paid for a game, you should want to get to do that. But I'm also from
mm,
the mindset of, I used to be, server first rating for World of Warcraft. I'm used to
mm.
being that top echelon of the player base that gets to access specific content just for the upper echelons of that. And not to try and toot my own
Mm,
horn, I'm just saying, like, I understand where they come from because they work hard to get there. And the
mhm,
payoff
mhm.
for
Yeah.
Pirate Legend hasn't been something that has had a lot of attention, because a lot of the content has been pushed for the majority of players, and it's easier than ever to become
Mm,
Pirate Legends. So I know that a lot of Pirate
mm,
Legends that have been Pirate Legends, for a year and a half now, haven't had anything to really be excited for or proud of when it comes to that.
mhm,
Cosmetics have been kind of slowly filtered in through achievements through the Athena's rep, and those are just big long grinds. It's nothing exciting like going out
mm,
and doing a tall tale or a Reaper's mission or a
mm,
mercenary
mm,
mission. It's like, oh,
mm,
you have to go kill 500 ghost ships or skeleton ships, or oh, you have
mm.
to go deliver
Yeah, yeah.
500 crates of plants if you want to get this. And it's like, that's not really,
Mhm.
that doesn't really fall in line with
No.
the same like entertainment level that you have when you're playing the game. If you're not a Pirate Legend, you don't have
Mhm.
that same kind of on par
Yeah, yeah.
experience.
No, I do agree with you that the Pirate Legends need something beyond what we currently have for sure. Because yeah, you get to Athena level 10 and then the Pirate Lord's like,
Yeah.
"Thanks. See you again." I great. I just literally did the most legendary thing in the world, and now I do nothing. Thank you so much. No, they definitely need to increase on that side. People call it end game, but I don't like. I mean, it's a sandbox game at the end of the day, so I don't believe the game has an end game. It's more about you are the end
Yeah.
game. Well, you are the person who creates the end game. But at the same time, the pirate the pirate tavern and even getting Athena level 10 needs to be something more than just that. But what I will say is that they have been increasing the accessibility to become a pirate legend over the months, and I think the way that they're doing it is they want to get as many people to pirate legend as possible before something bigger comes our way.
Yeah.
And I think this whole Athena run thing is a way for them to help out those lowly players who haven't got the time to grind Athena level 10 by dropping in one Athena's chest every time they can crew up and getting them more Athena levels. So I don't know what's going to come, but like if this big update comes to the Athena hideout and we eventually get to blast out the Athena Fortunes area in our ships, like what was promised so many years ago. Uh, well, it wasn't actually 2 years ago, but it feels like so
Yeah.
many years ago. Um, I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to make it easier for everybody to get Pirate Legends. So when this update, I'm not saying that this update will come, but if it
Yeah.
does, then it's going to be something that a larger amount of the player base can get involved in.
Yeah.
Um,
And
that's why I think this should have been for not just Pirate Legends, but for everybody in general. So it could have been something that if they have got a big update plan for this sort of area, then that's something that everybody can jump into, and not just a small percentage of um, the player base. But I do agree with you that it should be stuff that's like the higher echelon. So say if I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, but say if we could blast out of the waterfall, and let's say it takes us into the Sea of the Damned, and we've got this whole new area which we can explore. But this would be like this area would be just completely top tier. Like you have to be
yeah.
the best at combat. You have to be the best at ship combat. You have to have the most, the hugest amount of communication between your crew in order to do it. So it would be something that everybody could experience, but only the higher echelon of people could actually progress and, do stuff
It's
in.
definitely,
That's what I would like
yeah,
to see.
it's definitely something that I've heard players who are Pirate Legend who have been playing for a long time have been yearning for a deeper level of playing, and like it's one thing to kind of mash your way through a game like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry and stuff, but there's a reason why games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne exist, and that's because there's a layer of technical skill that players on Xbox and players on PC want. They really want to have this a deeper sense of understanding being rewarded when they're playing Sea of Thieves, and that's not something that's really being catered to up until this point, where I think you're right. I think that Rare has been pushing more and more people to hit Pirate Legend, because I can't remember where it was, but I remember Mike was talking about how he was speaking in response to a question about whether we're ever going to go back to the Shores of Gold. And I'm pretty sure that it was him that responded that there are plans on doing it. And my thought was that would make for a great return for Pirate Legends, to have a Pirate Legend Tall Tale built into into the Shores of Gold that only Pirate Legends can access, that would send them back to the Gold Hoarder for something, whether it be to recruit him or to use him, or to get something from there that we need that only Pirate Legends can use, that can get us somewhere cool. But I've always hoped that at some point there would be a Tall Tale just for Pirate Legends, to kind of for one, to kind of get the Pirate Legends off the Twitter accounts back about not having any content, because they do want something. I think they deserve something, and also just to give us a chance to go back to that island to kind of play around in that space, because it was such a cool thing. And once you did it 5 times, most people wrote it off because it was just such a pain in the butt to go and have to like carve out 3 hours of your day to deal with the fact that you're going to go down there, you're going to do everything, you're going to die a bunch of times to the Gold Hoarder, and as soon as you got the skull and you hit it out, you're going to get attacked by the trifecta of PvE. So
yeah,
I hope that you're right in that Rare is pushing people to get to Pirate Legend. I hope that this helps people get to Pirate Legend. I hope that this gets people Athena rep, and they start wondering what Athena's rep is, and then they start seeing all of the commendations and stuff that they can get once they hit Pirate Legend. And that this is just like last year when we started getting Reaper's runs, we started getting mercenary missions and stuff like that. That eventually led us to the anniversary update, which gave us all the Tall Tales and the monthly updates. I'm hoping this is a repeat of that, and that this is the start. This is the mercenary missions of Pirate Legend. And for the next year, we'll start to see larger and larger content created for Pirate Legends to feel like they're being given something that's beyond just the two costume sets that you can get in the title.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something I'd like them to. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very difficult position for Rare, because I know that they get a lot of new people playing the game pretty much every month. They get a huge, every update they bring out, there's a huge influx of players that come into the game who literally start off doing the maiden voyage. They've never experienced the game before, so they're trying their best to kind of like juggle the new players and those old people who some of them have quit and gone long ago, and then there's mad people who still play it. But they
Who are these mad people?
but it must be very, very hard for them to try and juggle that up. But I mean, it- there's got to be a way for them to not only make what's already in the game better, not better, have more meat to it, and at the same time have that, whatever that system is, put into the Pirate Legend Tavern as well. So basically, people can go and do the new Gold Hoarder. Let's call it a tall tale that only a level 50 Gold Hoarder can do.
Hmm.
And then you've got the level 10 Athena tall tale that only a level 10 Athena can do. So that it means that people can have that bragging right. They can say like the lowly sailor guy can say, "I did level 10, level 50 Athena Gold Hoarder," then you can say, "Well, I did the level 10 Athena Tall Tale," So
Wouldn't it be
I'm better than you are.
wouldn't it be amazing? And
Yeah.
and man, you just pop this idea in my head. What if they built tall tales so that we now have a tall tale that has 3 paths, which is awesome for doing it 3 times.
Mhm.
What if they built a tall tale that anyone could access? Anyone could go do it, just like you're saying.
Mm.
But as soon as you hit a certain point in the tall tale, a mysterious stranger walks through a wall and says, "Hey, come over here." And he leads you down a pirate legend path that only you can know. You
Yeah,
can only
yeah.
see it. And only because you're a pirate legend were you able to go down this path. And it literally takes you through a mysterious wall. And you get to do a whole section of the tall tale that no other pirate is aware of if you're not pirate legend. But because
That's
you
nice,
were a
yeah.
pirate legend, one of the mysterious strangers says, "Hey, I've got an idea. You can come over through this way and see some really cool stuff." And you'll be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I know."
Get in the van.
Let's go. I think it'd be
Yeah.
great. I think they could really take a moment to be like, "Ramsey sent me. He's got a special mission for you. Follow me." And you're just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
but
that's yeah, that would be very awesome. Yeah, I mean, you could have that in the Shores of Gold, couldn't you? For example, if you see this, you're opening my head to all different ideas now. Because one of the things with the Shores of Gold, one of the things with the Shores of Gold is that when you're a seasoned player like myself and you are as well, like like you said, you go on your fourth run of the Shores of Gold, and you're like, oh my god, I'm at like Athena level 10, and I'm still having to do these bog standard
Mhm.
puzzles and go through this whole thing just so I can go and slap the gold order and get my gold curse. Wouldn't it be great if, like, being an Athena level 10 gave you shortcuts in Tall Tales once you've done it
Ooh.
the first time? So, like you said, you could go do the Shores. Say if you've never done the Shores of Gold before, but you're Athena level
Yeah.
10, you could go do the Shores of Gold once, but then the second time you do it, before you're doing the puzzles, like you said, the mysterious stranger comes out and is like, "Hey, uh, I've discovered a secret area which you can go through that will probably give you a shortcut." You're like, okay, you follow him, and he opens this door, and you go past all of the puzzles, and you're straight into the gold hoarder room, so you can get that quest done a lot quicker.
Oh, it'd be
Um,
so cool if they did.
just things like
If
that would
if
be,
you get to
yeah,
like a puzzle vault and the mysterious stranger's already there and he's
mm.
like, "I've got this. Go on. You're needed elsewhere." And you're just like,
Yeah,
"Yes,
exactly, yeah. Yeah,
thank you,
thank you so
thank
much.
you."
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love for them to build something out like that. Um, the one thing
Mm,
I did want to touch on just before we kind of get past this is there are actually there's some bigger things. So if you do the Thieves Haven voyage enough times to get 50 of each of the different items turned in, or no, I'm sorry, it's the chalice, 50 chalice, 50 villainous
mm,
skulls, and then 50 powder kegs. You will unlock new
mm,
cosmetics for the ghost liveries, which are 50k each.
mhm.
So the cannon, the capstan, and the wheel are 500,000 gold once you unlock them by turning in 50 chalices, 50 skulls, and 50 stronghold barrels from the voyages. I don't know about you. I have hardly any of these. I did 4 of the runs, and I've got like
Mhm.
a small handful of these turned in. I'm kind of worried
Mm.
about how easy it's going to be for us to access this voyage
Well,
after the
yeah.
update.
See, now one thing is that they did say that they were going to be adding uh, new and interesting ways to the Athena voyages. And I think this is basically a precursor of what Athena voyages are going to be like in the future. So I think we're not going to do an Athena voyage after this. Is like the easy mode so far. So they're giving us it all nice and quickly.
Yeah.
But I think after this update is out, because if you notice the items, then none of this is time limited, because it usually says in brackets time limited. None of these are time limited. So I think after this update, basically Athena voyages are now going to have these things pop up rather than
the normal stuff,
bog standard Marauder's chest, and
so.
So it's gonna make it quicker to get to Athena 10, and also make the quests a little more interesting. I say a little.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I'd forgotten that everything wasn't time limited in this update. But yeah, that would make a whole lot of sense. If you have Athena stuff that you can go get, then why should you be grinding out items for voyages for reputations that you're already capped out on, when it doesn't contribute at all to your Athena reputation? You should be getting items that contribute directly to the Athena stuff. So I think that's a great idea. I think I would be really happy to see, an Order of Souls pop up on an Athena voyage, but it's all like Athena ghosts or skeletons, and to go dig up a bunch of relics and chalices and stuff, to have all of those be Athena chalices or ancient chalices and stuff. I think that'd be a great way.
And also, incorporating the whole Fate of Flame thing with the Order of Souls missions on Athena. So rather than just having regular skeletons, like one wave is the red flame, one wave is the green flame. So it sort of brings that mechanic into it. I mean, it makes it more interesting, not as much as I'd like to have it more interesting, but at least it changes it up a bit, because there's nothing more irritating than searching around an island for a riddle for about 2.5 hours, especially if you're on Old Faithful.
It's not that bad.
Searching around an entire island. All right, let's say plunder then. Stop any arguments. But you're searching around for ages. You eventually get it, and it's a Seafarer's chest. That's happened to me so often in an Athena mission. It's not even funny. Like, and to have that change to, rather than getting a Seafarer's chest, you get a crate of Athena voyages, which is going to give you a little bit of reputation to Athena, so you haven't wasted all that time. I think is actually a really, really good idea. It's not the expansion that I would like, but it's certainly a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that there's a lot that they could do to the Athena missions to make them more inviting for pirate legends who are still trying to get that grind, because there's so many more lucrative ways of earning gold. And if all you're going to do is spend an hour and a half grinding out Order of Souls, Gold Hoarder, and cargo crates that most people probably aren't even going to actually deliver, then why not take this opportunity to take the items that you've created for Athena reputation and reinvigorate the Athena's voyage? So that, I mean, remember back in the day when if you wanted a ship, you could actually get a ship and give someone an Athena's voyage, and they would be excited because they weren't pirate legend and they got a whole wheel full of voyages, of high level voyages that they could go work on. And you would wave goodbye to this scrub thinking like, oh, you're never going to get that done, but thanks for the ship. and you'd be on your way. No one cares about Athena's voyages anymore. I don't know anyone that's trying to run them specifically, but if you had them revamped so that you could actually introduce stuff that you get along the way that will give you reputation, not only is it going to be more enticing for other pirates to come sink you for that stuff, but you're also going to have more incentive to actually run those, because at the moment no one cares.
Exactly. No one cares now. No, there's no point in doing Athenas anymore. That's what even if you're not at Athena level 10, there's not really much point in doing them, because a lot of the player base now know the only thing you actually get out of it is 1,500,000 less gold and some ghost ship cosmetics. You don't get anything else apart from that, So yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be worked on for sure.
Hopes and wishes. Everything we talked about, I definitely hope comes to it. But the one thing that I think that they really, really need to bring in swiftly is variants on Pirate Legend cosmetics. Give us more clothing option or clothing color options for the Pirate Legend outfit, and bring in the rest of the equipment for the ghostly gear. Bring in those weapons that they have in the art book. Get those into the game, because that's something that, if people are going to be hitting Pirate Legend and working on their Athena's fortune reputation, they ought to have cool stuff to be earning beyond just like the ghost garbs, because that's, I mean,
exactly.
a lot of people wear them. I'm glad they like them, but I'm just not a fan of them. I would much rather have other ways of earning those items than if it was just to they come in later on. I'd rather they get in quicker so that people have more things to want to do, because it's one thing if they revamp the Athena's fortune, but if there's nothing new coming with it, then it doesn't matter if people want it or not. They're not going to do it. So
one thing I keep on suggesting to the developers, and they're not listening to me, but I keep on saying to them, Athena voyages, all you need to do is, right, at the end of an Athena voyage, you get your Athena reputation, but you also get 10 ancient coins. Just 10. So you're guaranteed 10 ancient coins at the end of Athena's voyage. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. It really doesn't.
I say 50.
I mean, but it would definitely be... Well, the problem is with that, you see, is you get these alliance farming servers, and they would be handing in a Athena's chest every sort of... Although I suppose you could make it so those ancient coins aren't
crew specific,
accessible if you're in an alliance. Yeah, crew specific. So yes, 50 would work if it was like that. But it would give people an incentive to go and do them, and it would also give people an incentive to ask people to do them. Because when you put that Athena chest down on somebody's ship, the lowly new player, you can say, hey, you get 50 ancient coins if you do this. Of course, they would be like, all right, yeah, let's do this. And it would bring back that excitement. And not just Athena voyages, but they need to do this with forts. They need to have a way in the game to earn ancient coins at a very, very slow rate, but still farmable, so you can get your pets or whatever you want to get without actually spending any money, or at least give people an incentive to spend a little bit of money so they can, rather than spending
to offset it.
Yeah. So I mean, the Devil's Roar Fort that recently came out, I was so incredibly disappointed with that, because they said they were going to update it, and it wasn't really updated at all.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's a chest of rage, and here's some fire skeletons that are just basically reskinned regular skeletons.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then they had that as the only fort in the whole game, and nobody did it. I did it once for the commendations, didn't go near it again, just as it's been ever since the beginning of the game. So ancient coins, I think, are a really good way to get people back into doing things alongside commendations like they've been adding.
Yeah, sure. I think I did it twice, and I tried the third time, and I was in a big group with Kaida, and the commendations were bugged, so no one was getting credit for killing skeletons with another crew. And we called it after that, because we had been farming up fire bombs and stuff like that, and it was such a disappointment to have 4 ships together. We were all trying to help each other get the commendations knocked out and help community support it, and it didn't work. And we all tried dying, we all tried coming back, and it wasn't going to work out. And it was like, well, at this point, this is just a wash. We just wasted 5 hours of our time trying to get these commendations, and we're only going to get a handful of them because the game bugged out on us. So I was definitely disappointed about that as well too. I lost my point. Dang it. I totally lost my point on what we were talking about. But yeah, with everything that's going on, I hope that they give the more incentive to do some of those voyages. How many ancient skeletons would you say you've killed?
I think I'm on 6 at the moment.
I have yet to actually see one. I have yet to actually see one.
I've seen them in the weirdest places as well. I've seen them in the strangest places. I saw one in the arena on a fort in the arena. I've seen one whilst I was in the Shores of Gold. And then I saw actually I've seen 6, but I've only killed 5, because I saw one at the Fort of the Damned, and as we were running towards him, he literally, no joke, literally flew into the sky as we were running towards him. They're like, oh well, okay, thanks so much.
That's funny.
and then sort of just buried himself in the sky. It was very
Wow.
strange, but yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, that's but to kind of the what I was saying kind of was is for one, I feel like I'm the most unluckiest person in this game at all. I have yet to see an ancient skeleton. I have not seen a shrouded ghost. I have never seen a box of wondrous secrets. I've never even seen my skeleton. I got the voyage once after grinding through a bunch of voyages. I saw him once. I don't actually know if he's even still in the game because I just haven't ever heard of anyone coming across him lately.
oh, he is.
Well, that's good.
He is. No, he's still in the game. I think it was one of my last live streams. You cropped up. You were a golden
Oh,
skeleton.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I feel like the unluckiest person because I've never seen an ancient skeleton, and I love hanging out on islands for stupid reasons. I love running around islands. It's one of the reasons why I've always been so poor is because I haven't, I never do anything. I just wander around.
Yeah.
But it's like the to get to the point, ancient skeletons were such a good introduction to the game to give players a bit of a boost, a bit of a margin on how to be able to buy ancient coins, and have that weird cost offset where you're getting a certain amount for versus what you're actually spending versus what things actually cost. And the ancient skeletons have always been a great way to kind of help make sure that, maybe you buy a certain amount and it's just enough to get a pet, but not enough to get like a pet and a costume. The ancient skeleton helps kind of boost that. And if you give if you give Athena voyages, I say 50 and make it locked to per crew. If it still takes 2 hours to complete, you're still getting all the gold, you're still getting all the reputation, but the 50 ancient coins is what's going to push people who are already Athena 10 to want to do them, because that way they're at least getting real world gold for that. And it's something that's farmable, but it's still something that is a time sink, and you can't shortcut that as much. And I think if they do lock it to crews, so you can't just alliance farm that stuff, it would help give people enough coin for it to be an incentive to do it, so that say you are working on an Athena's voyage, the likelihood of you going out onto islands and finding another ancient skeleton is higher just because of how much more you're spending on islands doing these missions. And then knowing that even if you don't find an ancient skeleton, that there is a for sure guaranteed way of earning ancient coins at the end of the mission is like what it should like. That is a good way to ensure that people are going to be rewarded at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot more that we could talk about, but I've already kept you for a really long time, so I think this is a good way we can end it. I've got more stuff that I'll probably cover in future episodes. I know I've got I don't know if I have anyone. What is next weekend? Next weekend, I think I've got Kaida Wrath coming on the podcast because I want to talk to her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's great. I love spending time watching her stream and stuff like that. But you stream as well. If say we'll just I don't think this is possible. It's plausible that someone listens to my podcast and doesn't know who you are. But let's cover the bases here. Falco, where can people find you if they want to come watch your stream or your videos?
Well, yes, I'm Captain Falcore, and I'm available on YouTube at Captain Falcore, and that's where I cover most of the lore and updates and speculation on the game. And you can also get me on Twitch at Captain Falcore, where I don't do so much that. I just go around trying my best to ruin everybody's day.
Makes sense. Sea of Thieves.
And yeah, exactly. I am a pirate.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's basically it. And I don't like Minecraft.
How do you I'm not gonna rain on anyone's parade. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time on it. Why Minecraft though?
Well, actually, the thing is that I had a Minecraft server and adminned a Minecraft server, very popular one actually, before all of the Sea of Thieves stuff. And it got to a point where it was running at about 126 players per day, like constantly on the server, and I didn't really trust anybody. It happened so quickly that I didn't really trust anybody enough to have moderation
Hmm.
support from other people. So it was literally me doing all the admin work, all of the server work, all of the event work, and everything. And it was literally the amount of time that I spend on content creation and streaming now.
Yeah.
I was spending that same amount of time just adminning this Minecraft server, and it got to a point where it still is, it still has got to the point where if I hear the Minecraft music, I actually feel physically sick because
Ooh.
I spent way too much time on that. Um, and although Minecraft is very, very extensive and there's a lot of stuff you can do, and it's literally as imagination's your
Yeah.
limit, there's not much in the way of sound effects and musical score. So you hear that kind of you hear that kind of that pain sound that your character
Yeah.
makes, or the sound of dropping
Ugh.
items. You hear that one too many times, yeah, and it sends you insane. So that's one of the. I'm not saying Minecraft's a bad game. I'm just saying that I'm sick to death of it, and I never ever want to play it again.
Minecraft is good. Having a cult on Minecraft that only you are in charge of, bad. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Awesome. I think we'll end it on that note. Falcore, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I love chatting lore with you.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys don't know Falcore, you're insane. You need to hop on YouTube and search Sea of Thieves and just watch all of the stuff that he's making.
You're either insane or you're very, very you're very good for not.
No, that's not true. Don't even.
You've done the right thing.
Get out of here. Pirates, that's going to do it for this episode. If you want to get a hold of me, there's tons of ways to do it. You can always reach me at CaptainLogun, CAPT_LOGUN on Twitter. You can always email me at CAPTLOGUN@gmail.com. Search for Keelhauled. It's on Spotify. It's on everything. Just follow, like, share, do your part. We're in this together. Everyone's on quarantine. Make sure to wash your hands. Make sure to wash your feet. Everyone says, wash your hands. Make sure you're washing your hands. Not a lot of people washing your feet. I know who you are. There's more to your body than just your hands, and you shouldn't stop washing your hands after this is all over. But I hope everyone has an awesome, safe, sick-free quarantine as we all get back on the seas and try and kill each other for gold.